Hi there, artisans! Welcome back to this channel. This is Rochelle Rosenberg. So today, here is a finished product of a painting that we did today in our 5th episode of our perfume project. So today's materials is a new technique that I'm going to show you, and this is about a graphite, which is water soluble or watercolor pencil. And then we have also the white watercolor pencil, and this will be our new technique, and I hope that you will learn something new from this. So without further ado, let's get along with the painting.
On point. Now is my time to shine.
So let's get started with knowing what is this painting all about. So in this technique, I just had some sort of graphite pencils in front of me, and they are almost the same as the watercolor pencils, but the difference is they are just made of carbon and they are mostly activated with water. And the effects of the dark tones are actually wonderful. It's great even in using for canvas, preliminary sketches, or even in your watercolor painting. As you can see, I have created all of these kinds of effects with the mixture of watercolor and these watercolor pencils. And I would like to share you that there are symbols in every pencils, just like this one. So for ordinary pencils, you can actually just see just like a sign or a symbol or an alphanumerical numbers in the pen. Just like this one, I have this HB number 2. So this means that this is a hard black number 2. And here we got this graphite aquarelle from Faber-Castell, and this is 8B, which I used in making all of these shadows over here. Right, so we're gonna distinguish first the image by this left corner that you will see, and we're gonna start by shapes. Okay, so our painting for today is Jean Patou, and we're gonna start with just the shapes. So I want to place my subject here on the left. We'll start first with the body. So, and I will not have, I will just have a light pressure. I will just have a light pressure when I paint this. Like so. There you go. And the body is almost like a rectangle itself, so probably I have to be here. There. And we're gonna go in the middle at least, just to mark where the bottle cap will be. Like so. And there's a bottle cap over here. And the cup itself is like right above here probably, and since the body is there, it should leave at least this part. Like so. Okay. And I already have a little bit of mark there, so I probably do the same thing on this side. There you go. And we're gonna have quite a size over here of right. So from here we're gonna have these kinds of mark for the cup. And the height would be quite huge up here, like so. And afterwards there's another ring here, the plain ring. There you go. And here we can just do it this way. We're gonna create the details later, so we'll just have to create the main shapes. Okay. And here we have to consider that little line a little bit on the top, like so. Probably I have to create it more. Let's just erase that. I'll have to create a little bit more higher, like so. There you go. Because I forgot to include that there's kind of shadow right on the top of it. Right. And then we're gonna have the dark shadow over here. Okay. And now we get the chance to create the line in between here. There you go. There you go. And then we'll just have to distinguish this again, like right here. Now we can actually erase this so we can adjust the shape on the top. Ayan. So, and there's another one like right here on the top, just some kind of line. So there you go. Now we're gonna go through the details. We're gonna spot the dark tones first, so we're gonna start over here. Probably we're gonna jump up to I think I'm gonna get the 4, right. And like right here as well. And this is a straight line over here. Like so. Gonna get closer. So as you can see, this is just a light sketch, just to know where the places are and just to recognize the shapes. And we'll just have to fill in those space. Okay, so this one we're gonna have to create. I'm gonna fill in this space here. And then over here as well. There are different ways on how to fill the shadows. Sometimes you have to go by circles like this, or you can go by lines. So remember that where you are filling in right now, you are actually gonna create them with darker and softer shadows later, since this is an aquarelle. You know that it will become dark later. And here we got the shadows from the cup. Same here. And then we have also in the middle. Now we're gonna add those details that are included in the picture. So, and then over here as well, we got 3 parts. So, first 1, 2, 3, and the same here, 1, 2, 3. So let's connect them in line. So and then this is kind of yellow color, but there are dark tones in it, and we're just gonna have to distinguish this one. Okay, first is to create the shadows over here, like we're gonna create until here, and then the same on this side, and then here as well. So these are like the shadows and reflections from the light when they took the picture. It's important to include it as well when we paint. There you go. And here, gonna have a little bit of that shadow. So it's the same thing here. Now we're gonna go through the neck. So we're gonna continue at the edge over here. Right. And then once we do that, I think I have done this too much. I'm gonna go create here. So then we're gonna create the line over here. Now I can notice that I've done something wrong over here. You see that whenever you paint, you still can rearrange, or you still can erase the things that you've done in this watercolor graphite, since there's no water yet involved. So here there are different types of things you can consider. There's this mark here of the water, and of course there's this line here. And we're gonna draw the reflection of the water. There's a dark reflection over here and a little bit over here in the neck. There. So remember that our guide is this line, and we have here the mark. So I always do that. I put a mark so that I could recognize where I'm gonna stop. And then right here, just I think in the middle of this cap and even on that side is the reflection of the cup underneath. And we're gonna create it this way, like so. And then there's another line over here. So our aim is not to make it perfect, but it's to draw what we see by looking at the picture. Now we're gonna shade this, but we have to think about the shadows. There you go. There you go. Now we can actually create some of the shadows down below. And here there's like a small shadow underneath, and just light. So as you can see, I've been using the 4B for quite a while now, and then the same thing over here. There you go. Now we're gonna create right above here. And over here as well. So sometimes I'm actually, and then here there you go. A little bit underneath. There you go. Now we're gonna continue like here as well. And from here to here we have to create that. So it's the same with this one. There you go. Now we're gonna create the stamp. And here the biggest letter is actually the joy. And then Y. There you go. So now I'm trying to just establish the things that I see right in the picture. Sometimes I write the letters according to the word, or sometimes I just write them according to the lines that I established here. And here we got Jean. There you go. So it takes practice just to learn these things. So you don't have to be afraid whenever you are doing these kinds of painting, because by practicing as well and by testing it yourself, you will actually learn a lot more. There. Now we'll just have to shade this. Okay. Oh, there you go. I forgot this. There you go. So now we've done just the sketch, and we're gonna refine it more with the other details like shadows. Now we'll have to create that dark spots here. There. And a little bit of this here. There you go. And then we're gonna have like that over here. Got some lines here and even here as well. So there you go. Right. So now we're just gonna strengthen the shadows, and we're gonna go higher to 8B. Right, so this is the 8B pencil, and we're just gonna have to strengthen the shadows over here. We'll be starting from here. I'm just gonna have to put a line here because that's kind of light shadows. And then over here, you can see where there are strong shadows, and that's where we're gonna put a lot of pressure. Like so, and even here. And over here as well, like so. And right here, here's a little bit more darker. Now we can actually erase this part. There you go. And this will be yellow. And actually we have created this too thick. So sometimes you do a little bit of mistake here and there, but that's fine. Doesn't matter so much. I never wanted the painting to be always perfect. There's a painter who also said the same. Because for me as well, I want that the painting should at least carry a little bit of myself. So that's why I don't aim always, or not always, I don't aim for perfection. I just want that when I'm painting, I enjoy it so much. Now we're gonna create this painting, and as you can see, I also created some shapes over here, and we're gonna create that in a second. Now I have something new to share with you, and this is also from Faber-Castell, and this is also has a symbol here with a watercolor brush, and it's also the same here. You can mostly notice that some of the graphite aquarelle have this symbol, which means that this is a water soluble, and it's important for you to recognize those so that you know actually where you are buying this stuff. And I'm gonna paint here. It's not easy to see them, but you're gonna recognize it later. Okay, this is a watercolor pencil as well, and you can actually find this in your art stores. So I'm just gonna cover all of the whites. It's important to cover them. So I'm actually gonna go through all the places where there is white reflections, and the effects will be stunning, right? I think I made some mistake here, but that's fine. And here this should be a little bit thicker, so I'm gonna make it thick. Like so. And here this one should be a little bit of gray, so I'll just gonna shade it light with the HB. We'll just crisscross it. Okay. Now we're gonna strengthen all these lines. These are important to be seen later. You will see. Okay, here is a gray as well, and a little bit much more darker. So there you go. I think that we almost did some of the stuff, and here will be quite white. Just a little bit of that, and here is kind of perfectly white. Right. So now what I'm going to do is to actually activate this with water, and first I'm gonna paint this with yellow, just the basic yellow, like probably right there. Let me see. Like, I don't know where to start because it excites me sometimes. So we're gonna start with yellow. This is just a prime yellow. So the yellow is not much seen, but it's there. And like right here, there's a shade over there. So what I'm going to do is to do it this way. It takes a while. So when you look at the picture, you can actually recognize that the light source was like from behind, and then there's a light source in front. Okay, because like behind this mark, there's this white reflection, and that is actually a light from behind. That's the reflection of the light from behind. And now we're gonna mix darker yellow to the prime, and we're gonna paint it over here. So, and a little bit of yellow ochre to make it darker. So, and we're gonna wait until this become dry. So we'll just have to go through this with yellow first. There you go. Now you can see that the pencil is activated with water when I touch this with dark yellow. So I think that it's time to touch the most of the picture, and we're gonna get the soft brush. Okay, I have a lot of pen like right here beside me, so sometimes it makes me crazy, but that's how it is. So we're gonna use this one. So when you buy the Faber-Castell set, you will actually get this as well. You can find them in Amazon or any website. Now we're gonna go through the lines and activate them. Now I think you can see the difference of the watercolor brush. So probably I have to. So the brush is a soft brush, that's why it's easily activated. And it's not as soft as the synthetic. The synthetic is actually kind of stiff for this. See, even this slightest part can also be seen. So I'll just have to go through here. So, and then go and activate it. It's still wet, so I can go through that. I'm quite careful sometimes so that I won't touch the other parts. So this is the magical thing when it comes to the watercolor graphite pencils, because they disappear along with the painting, especially in watercolor. They're absolutely great in their purpose. And you can also create them by layers. So you will have to go through the first layer and then layer them at a time. If you actually look at the picture, you still can see those details of the HB watercolor graphite that I did there on the line. And that is fine, because later I'm gonna define these details. There you go. So just a little bit of more water, and I'm gonna go through here. So it darkens a little bit those parts that are actually dark, and that's what I like in here. So if you are also drawing in portrait, this is also a good thing to use. It's truly perfect in portrait. There you go. It was a little bit faster than I thought. And the challenge here actually for today's painting is that if we could finish a painting in a fast pace, but of course the details are always the ones that takes time. There you go. Now I think we're gonna have to color this, and the way that I can do that is to cover it later, but I'm thinking to actually color it differently. So I'm gonna start with the yellow again. I'm gonna paint it over here. And we're gonna go through yellow layer over here again. And a little bit of that over on the top. And like right here as well. And then much on the neck. More layer over here. Darker tone over there. Right. Now, if we're gonna focus on this side, there's actually like a line here, and that's where I'm going to put a little bit of line like right here. Like so. And here as well. Here we're gonna put the yellow color, much darker than before, and we're gonna use the primary yellow and a little bit of burnt umber, I guess. Like so. And then we're gonna paint it right here. Mix it a little bit. And then you see that the effect of the pen is actually going along with the shadow. And we're gonna do the same thing here. And it should be a little bit inside. There you go. Now we'll need some darker tones. And a little bit of yellow. Burnt sienna, or burnt umber, I mean. Burnt umber and then primary yellow. Mix it together. It will become a little bit of dark yellow. So that's the thing that can be done here. Here as well. And I think it's the same thing that can go through. And then quite here, Right. Now we'll just have to define this yellow tone over here. Just a little bit. Not so much, because it's a lighter tone there. Now we're gonna get inside, since this is the dry one here among the picture. We're gonna get into that burnt umber and then primary yellow. And the more it goes up, the more it becomes light yellow. There you go. Now I'm gonna use this white one, and I'll just have to cover it over here. Since it doesn't have any effect, I'm gonna use gouache. Just a little bit of gouache. And gouache is a perfect tool for covering, like whites. So I'll just grab it like that. You can actually mix this with water if you'd like. Sometimes I don't do so. Sometimes I just apply it directly. There you go. And I can also cover the other parts, like over here. So this keeps my shadings to white and keep them whiter. And even here. I think I put a lot of white in there. And then I can go like right here. There you go. Now I think one thing that I actually forgot here was here. There's like these stones over here. And there you go as well. So we can use the other pen or brush. So I have different brushes for each. When it comes to our graphite watercolor pencils, I use another brush, and then I have another brush just for watercolor. Now we're gonna go through here again and color this, and put a little bit of stronger color below. These effects are actually amazing. Once you learn them, it will stick on you. And here we're gonna go darker. There you go. And we'll kind of lessen this. Put a little bit of white. Mix it over here. And the same thing on the this side. There's another white line over here, and we're just gonna cover that. There you go. A little bit of more yellow again, and we're gonna cover this part. Now, our main thing to think about is the letters. So I think I have to rewrite this again. While it's still wet, I can actually write over it. And I can see that the tip is quite difficult to use, so I have to use this one just to sharpen the tip. There you go. Now I think that I am satisfied with the result of the bottle. So we'll just have to refine now some of the edges. There you go. And we'll just have some kind of now what we're going to do here is to actually color the shapes, and I want to actually use some of this. So I think I'm gonna do it this way. And over here. Because I'm thinking to paint them with colors, we have to be a little bit of creative. So sometimes I actually do these kind of things. You know, sometimes you have to think out of the box. Like so. There you go. And I'm thinking that the light source was coming from here. There you go. Right there. So what I'm going to do is to just color this with yellow. Since this is yellow, I have to create some sort of this thing, and fill that with water, and we'll grab some of this yellow, some blue again, and violet, so they can mix all together. We'll just have to scatter it. And we'll wet this also. Now we're gonna grab again yellow hue, and a little bit of red. So you can see it's kind of interesting to mix all these kinds of colors, and then I'll just allow them to dry. And the effects of the graphite is actually interesting. Looks like a stone or something. Let me see if I can create again another color. Probably like some of green, the emerald green, and after that, I'm gonna mix it with blue and let's see what will happen. So it will mix itself. So if it's too much water, you can actually wipe your brush in a cloth. Like so. And then you can grab more of that color. And we're gonna grab blue this time. Blue. And what if I mix with yellow? That's kind of interesting. Then it becomes green. So let's suck up most of the water. Now we're gonna grab again another violet. So we're gonna grab all of this like just right on the side. So. And let's grab some blue. So this is loaded with color. And we'll grab some concentrated green. And I'm gonna put it like right there. There you go. So it's almost like an effect of a yes tone. And I'm gonna grab more of the red. And probably I'm gonna mix it with yellow. It's not seen so much. Probably what if I mix it with white? Interesting. And what if I mix it here? Some white, and then I'm gonna grab like yellow hue. Let's mix it with yellow, with red. And what else? I think I'm gonna grab blue again, but I'll mix it with burnt umber. So we'll create this kind of grayish, it's like a muddy texture. And then we're gonna grab some light color, yellow hue. and a little bit of green. There you go. Let's grab again another lighter green. And I'm gonna grab a little bit of this gray, blue, and then burnt umber together and dip it here. Grab more of that blue. So there you go, and we still have one more here, and this one would probably be just light green. So I'm getting off lots of water. By dragging off the water also leaves a little bit of effect on it. And we have one more, but I want this to be red. Like so. And I'll just have to activate this. Now it looks like we have some small stones over here, and we're gonna do the same on that side. So we're gonna grab the 8B to create those shadows. And to understand the shadow is by remembering where your light source is. So my light source over the stones is like right here on this side. My light source is on the left. Right. So we just have this side now, and what I am going to do is to actually color them just the same. Let's just have a clean wash. Okay. And I'm going to go through the blue over here. Like so. Just grabbing a lot of that color, and then we're gonna grab this water because I think it's too much. So once you suck up all that water, it also creates the effect. So now I want to color violet. We'll remove much of that water. Load the brush with a lot of color. And I'm very careful not to touch the graphite outside. I'm trying my best to just grab or just to paint inside. Like so. And grab a lot of that color just to have the effects on it. And I think if I make it close, you can actually see what I'm doing. So once this dries, this becomes more lighter. Now I'm gonna go to red. I'll grab the big one. And fill it in like so, and load the brush with a lot of color, probably a little bit of water, and just dip it over here. Sometimes just dabbing the paper with a lot of color creates these different kinds of effect, and then wiping the brush in this cloth would suck all of the waters from the brush, and then dab it over here. That makes it actually dots of white. So as you can see, there's the pigments of darker colors like everywhere, but once I put I dab my brush like that, that's when the brush sucks up the excess water. Now we'll just have to work with a wet on wet. So I put my brush in the water, it's just water, and then I'll just gonna go through this subject with just water. And I'm thinking that I'm gonna use a black, like so, and then wash it off. And I'm gonna grab a little bit of violet. So this is just how I do it when I'm painting. And I'm gonna grab some blue, a little bit of water, and then just mix it. Probably a little bit more of black. I think it's dominating the color mostly. So as you can see that the effect is quite strong. And when this dries, it will become lighter like the other ones that I did here. And now what I'm going to do is to actually just color the other parts green. And this has a lot of water. We're gonna imagine that this is an emerald green, right? and we'll grab a lot of that green in there. We'll put the darkest or the strongest color of pigment, like right here. Like so. And this will dry. Sometimes if things takes too long for you to dry, it's okay to grab your hair dryer. So now that's yellow, and I want to grab some of the red and mix it over here. Like so. And then I want the cerulean blue. So it's different from the cadmium blue to the cerulean. You see that? It's more darker. And I'm actually gonna mix it with yellow here. And let me see how it turns out. Sometimes they are so amazing when they mixed up, you know. Now you can see that this becomes lighter, and we're gonna mix it while it's still a little bit of wet. I'm just gonna load it with colors. And then I'm gonna get a little bit of that and paint it here. Sometimes I just see some things that I actually need to retouch, and something is missing. I think that I have to grab some kind of violet over here. And then grab some blue. And I want to get some green. And get a little bit of red. Remove the excess water, and let's just mix it here. Like so. And this ones, I think I'm gonna grab the burnt umber. And get a little bit of that blue. And we'll grab the crimson red, so it's kind of pink. And probably the best color I could mix that with is the yellow. Let's get more of that yellow. There you go. And then this one would probably be just light blue. There you go. Now the next thing to do is to actually activate those shadows. So now we're gonna continue to activate the watercolor graphite. And just create some sort of texture in it by grabbing some of it and pulling it over. Same thing here. There. Sometimes it creates a lot of illusion once you are creative, and you know, I'm mostly thinking about how stuff would look like. So I actually don't sometimes follow some sort of rules when I'm painting. So it's like I'm just going with the flow. And sometimes it works, especially when you're gonna create some abstract. This will actually work a lot. There you go. So if you could actually see it right through the picture, it looks like real stones. And this is the aim of the image. Now we're gonna go on to this side. There. There you go. So it's not actually perfect, and it shouldn't be perfect, but it should be something that you will be proud of when you present it. Because once you aim perfection in your drawing or in your painting, sometimes you will lose the perspective, and it's discouraging sometimes if you do that. You will just discourage yourself. There you go. I think that we're already done here. So the only thing left is my signature over here. Probably I'm gonna put it here. There you go. And that's it for today. And I hope that you have learned something new, and see you again on our next art.
Doubters overnight, and after them you shine bright. Cause inside your head, on goes the light. Ignite, play the intuition upon the stars in the night that glisten. To you they listen, to be you instead of wishing. Listen, do your own math and learn from the stuff that you are missing. Create your own path with your own vision.